right, welcome back to another edition of Inside NA Athletics. We had a nice little break for spring break, although many of us didn't really go anywhere, or probably shouldn't have gone anywhere. But we're back after that layoff, and back and better than ever, hopefully. So as you can see, it's a beautiful day outside, and we're taking advantage of some good Central Ohio weather here on this April 6th afternoon. So I am excited to be joined by our head football coach, Coach Bubba Kidwell. Welcome to Inside NA Athletics, Coach.
Thanks a lot for having me on, Richie. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. So what's going on at the Kidwell household, and how you guys holding up, and what's everybody doing over there?
Well, we're getting definitely a lot of family time, a lot more than what we've ever expected. I never would have thought in a million years we'd be going through this right now. But my wife's a pharmacist, so she's on the, as they say, the front line. So worry about her at work and being in contact with a lot of people that obviously are in need. So think about her every day when she goes off to work. She works 6 days this week, so that's tough on her, but we appreciate what she's doing and everybody else that's out there and doing the same thing. So but no, here at the Kidwell house, we like I said, we've had a lot of family time. I've cooked a lot more. I think I've cooked every night, and that's not something that I've necessarily been very good at, but I even probably specializing in a egg casserole. That seems to be my go-to right now. So
that's the state.
That's feeding everybody breakfast and lunch. So, but yeah, doing a lot of cooking. We're watching a lot of movies at night. Went through I think the whole series of Entourage again. So that was my favorite. So it was good to to catch up and watch some old series like that, and then watching some movies with the family.
Good. No, that's good.
But yeah, it's with the family and actually working out. And my daughter and I, she likes to play basketball, so we go out and we shoot every day. And she has her drills that she does, and so it's been nice to a lot of things that can't really do, not able to do during the week. With teaching and coaching football and coaching middle school track, a lot of things I can't do then that I'm able to do now with the kids.
Sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people's responses to the what you've been up to lately kind of question has been cooking, either learning to cook new things or whatever. I mean, it's definitely something that we've been doing more often here. And it's funny that you mentioned cooking things where people are having them for breakfast and lunch. And we're over cooking some of those meals to make sure that we have those reheated lunch leftovers. So that's always good, man. It's great to have the family time and some of that driveway basketball. Those are some outstanding experiences and memories that I know that you and Mary will have forever. So I guess that's the silver lining, right? Just spending a little bit of time home when otherwise we'd be at school or burning the midnight oil, watching film and stuff like that, which a lot of coaches do. So, you had a pretty scary moment during the last season with your health. Share with us what you feel comfortable sharing, but just how are you doing with that, and what are you doing differently to keep that from happening again, and kind of what were some lessons learned through that experience?
Well, it's obviously it happened after the first game or during the first game of the season. I'm on medication now that I take every day to slow my heart rate down a little bit, and it was definitely scary. It was scary for myself, my family, and made me realize that I need to rely on my staff a little bit more. That's a great thing about coaching football at New Albany and, coaching for the athletic department is that, there's such there's wonderful coach. And I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of guys that not only do I coach with them, but they're my best friends.
Mhm.
And so I've, relied on them. James Yarborough, he's now running the defense. So I kind of, oversee everything. And, Brian Finn obviously does the offense. Scott Elwer does the special teams, and all the coaches, they kind of stepped up a little bit. Well, they didn't they did.
Yeah.
And, it was one of those things that, I wasn't there that second week. And it just showed that, in our program, anybody can be gone. It doesn't matter if you're, the quarterback, running back, head coach, the next person steps up. And I actually think we got better the week I was gone. And Brian Finn and James and Scott and the other coaches did an excellent job of stepping up. And there's not many programs that I think could withstand that. With the head coach being gone and so forth. But New Albany is definitely one of those programs. And like I said, I think we became a better team, and it made us better throughout the season.
Right. You obviously have a great staff to lean on, and that kind of segues into the next question, which is, or maybe not a question, but a statement. So New Albany football has been known for just having a great football product on the field. I mean, you guys perennially are at the top of the OCC capital, and obviously making playoff runs and things like that. In recent years, but also in the past. And but many people don't know what you guys do off the field in terms of leadership development, character development, and really providing an opportunity for the guys in your program to not only be great football players, but great young men. And tell us a little bit about the Finish program, kind of what it is, where it came from, and sort of how it became really a pillar in your program, and how you've kind of taken that and ran with it, whether it's been you, Coach Samanich, and coaches ahead of him.
Yeah, well, it started almost a decade ago. And I've been fortunate enough to have been here for 15 years now. And, Mark Mueller, when he became the head coach, he and Greg Gallagher, Pat Samanich, Brian Finn, and really all the coaches have had a little bit, little hand in it. But the Finish program is huge for us. Faith and family, integrity, nobility, sacrifice, and humility. So, it's something that's huge in our program. Like I said, Mark Mueller, he kind of got things going, and it kind of snowballed from there. It got bigger and bigger, and it's something that we pride ourselves on. We like to talk about the 25 playoff games we've played in, and the regional championships, and getting to the Final Four twice, and those things. But our best teams have they've been the best finishers. If we have teams that have had a lot of success, it's because of they bought into the Finish program. And I know, there's a lot of people that, may not necessarily agree with everything, or think it's just, the slogan or whatever that we use, but we actually live it. Our coaches do, our players do. We start every Monday during the season. So let's say we're on nobility. Instead of starting with the game plan on Monday, we have a coach talk about one of the Finish components. And normally that goes on for about 20-25 minutes. And then we go through the scouting report. And so it's something that's, it's more important to us than wins and losses. Our job as coaches is to develop these young men. They're going to be husbands, they're going to be fathers one day. And that's our job, not necessarily to, to win and lose football games, but the kids that have bought in, our teams that have bought in to the Finish program, it does translate into wins and losses, because it gives them a sense of pride and they care about other people, and they realize there's things much greater than themselves. So that's been the huge part of the finish program. And Greg Gallagher has done a great job, our linebackers coach, of, he has a packet for every kid, and they take notes every Monday, and then we followed up with the speaker on Thursday before the game on Friday. So we try to tie all in, and it's something that doesn't just end during the season. We carried into the off season, and with the work with our Special Olympics program and Relay for Life. So there's a lot of things that our kids are doing other than just football.
So, it's been something that, I've been fortunate enough to be in the locker room and not only witness the outstanding speakers that we have on staff, but also that we bring in as guest speakers, but also fortunate enough to talk to the team as well. And really was kind of the highlight of my first year at New Albany when I was able to come into the locker room, and it really is a special program. I'm not sure if everybody realizes what they're getting out of that experience today, but I definitely know that down the road, when life happens, when experiences they go through, whether even if it's something like a job interview, right? I've heard so many stories about guys carrying their finish coin with them, and as a reminder of the program and the lessons learned. And then obviously you guys get the calls and the emails and the personal stories of how much that program means to them, and maybe what they've realized down the road. Is there one that really sticks out? Maybe a story that you've heard, or an experience that a player's had?
Yes, I would say Anthony Jimenez. He every senior for us, once they finish the program, they get a finish coin, and it's something that they can keep with them. And we've received a lot of emails and calls and texts from kids that they've had the coin on them when they've gone to have taken their first exam, when they've gotten married, when they had their first child. But the one that sticks out with me is Anthony Jimenez, who's at the Naval Academy. And when he was at the prep school, and it's carried into the at the Naval Academy, that he would carry his finish coin with him to every single class. So that's something that you don't realize the impact that it has on these kids, and so to hear things like that with Anthony Jimenez and the other guys, that when they let us know that they still have their finish packet, and when they're going through a tough time in their life, they refer back to the finish manual, and they go through and they read, and they'll see things that Scott Elwer might have been talking about, or James Yarborough might have been talking about, over faith and family or humility, and it kind of brings them back to that point in their life when they were 18 years old, 17, 18 years old. And those are things that I like to think that we've helped those kids grow as men, and have had an impact on their life.
Along the same lines, and I know a lot of people know your connection and your relationship with the Special Olympics, and coaching the basketball team, and but also the football teams, just the actual entire team's relationship with Special Olympics. Tell us a little bit about that connection, kind of how that sort of came about, and really how much the guys learn from that relationship, even more so than what certainly the participants, in Special Olympics. I know that's a great relationship there, but I think it's something that, the players on the football team really get a lot out of that relationship.
They do. We were fortunate enough many years ago. Paul and Amy Thomas, they were starting the New Albany Special Olympics program here. Brian Finn got involved with the track program, and I think he was just planning on just helping out, and they made him the head track coach. So I told him I would like to help out, and winter time is probably the best time for me to, a little bit more free time. And so I told them I would like to help out with basketball. And then at that point, they made me the head coach of the basketball, the New Albany Special Olympics program. It took us 3 years to actually win a game, but like I said, it's not all about the wins and losses, especially, in Special Olympics. But, Brian Finn has been a huge proponent, along with Paul and Amy Thomas, of building this program to, its infant stages to the program that it is now, and that other communities, such as friends of ours in Olentangy, were contacting us about, how to get their football programs, involved. Olentangy Orange, they were asking how we got our guys involved, and it's something that it's contagious. It carries on because, kind of with the Finnish program, it makes our kids realize that, there's things a lot bigger than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you see our football players eating lunch with a lot of the kids, a lot of the Special Olympics athletes there at lunch. And so they're, a lot of them help us out during the football season. And so they're developing these friendships, and it's not something they have to do. It's something they want to do.
Yeah.
My own kids in particular, they've been helping out with the Special Olympics program. My oldest son is about ready to graduate this year. He's been helping out since he was in, I believe, 4th grade. So, and, they raised money in 4th grade for on Entrepreneur Day. And those are things that, have made them the people that they are, and have developed the relationships, not only with the student athletes, but also with the people that are coaching. I know Steve and Jen Maple, they have been huge. Officer Kelly has been huge, helping out. So there's a lot of great people in this community that I've met through the Special Olympics program that I'm a better person from meeting them.
Yeah, I mean, attending some of those Special Olympics events really is a special opportunity for people to get out and see just how unique and special that relationship is between the football program and Special Olympics organization. And it's always great too to watch our Special Olympics basketball team beat up on our football team on the basketball court, or our first responders on the basketball court as well. And I know there've been a lot of those really fun games there in the intermediate.
Our football team, I think, be within 70 points of the Special Olympics team. So we're 0-9 or 0-10 against the Special Olympics program.
Yeah, that'll go down in history as one of the greatest dynasties in New Albany.
Yeah.
Sticking with the culture theme, how would you characterize kind of where we are as an athletic department, overall culture, and really how you work with other coaches, the experience that student athletes get through athletics in New Albany, and just really what do you think sets us apart from really other places?
Well, first of all, congratulations to you for your award with being the athletic director of the year. That's a huge honor, and really thought you should have earned it a long time ago. So, the athletic department, it goes as you go. And, if you look around Central Ohio, or even the state of Ohio, there's not too many programs that have been as successful as the New Albany athletic program. And that comes from your leadership. And, and so many of my friends, coach other programs. And we really do promote our kids to play other sports. My own boys that play football, they run track, have a great relationship with Greg Fletcher and Amy, and they do a great job of getting our guys involved. And Jeff Sides does an unbelievable job with our kids in the weight room. But it's nice to have our kids also compete in another environment. and get around other coaches other than just the football coaches. But the athletic department, I've coached at a number of places, taught at a number of places, and what New Albany has, is very, very, very special. And it's not like this everywhere. I've been places where, there's not an importance in the athletic realm, but definitely at New Albany, it's one of those, everything's, it's important in the classroom, but everything that's going on the playing field and on the basketball court and volleyball court, baseball diamond, that's just as important. And it's the people respect when they hear New Albany athletics. They think of hardworking kids that are smart, have a lot of character, and it's something that, like I said, that starts from the top down. So the job that you've done, you've made our job as coaches so much easier, knowing that we have the support, and not only from you but also from Kelly Link. She you do great. We know who the brains behind the program is there too. So
no doubt about it. Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, I appreciate you saying that. That definitely was not the intent of the question, but I appreciate the shout out for that. And it absolutely couldn't happen without an incredible staff and incredible kids, obviously, that represent us every single day. I'm not out there coaching. I'm not out on the road trips representing our community. You as coaches and our kids are out there doing that, and that really is where a lot of that perspective comes from. I mean, that's what people really their takeaway on New Albany athletics, and that's their experience with New Albany athletics. And but also, you mentioned Kelly. She's an incredible support, as well as was Mary Ferguson when Mary was there a couple years ago, and also I would be foolish to not acknowledge the administrators that I work with, both our assistant principals, our principal Ken Kramer, and then obviously our district leadership as well. I mean, we are tremendously supported all the way up through our Board of Education, and have an incredible amount of community support as well. And so it's all one huge machine that really that Athletic Director of the Year award is just is recognizing all of that. It's certainly not just me at all. So I'm very, very fortunate and blessed to work where I work and live where I live and coach alongside the people that we coach with. So but I would also say that our culture is second to none. When you look at other places that we work with, or places that you've been, places I've been, it's definitely not a criticism of any of those places. It's just a step above. We have a great culture. So you were a longtime assistant coach in football. A couple years ago, were given the reins to the program, taking over for Pat Samonich. How or what advice would you give to aspiring head coaches that are currently assistant coaches, and maybe some lessons learned in your first couple of years, being the man in charge?
I think the main thing I would say is and like I said, I was very fortunate to have been here for 15 years, and when I came in, our staff has stayed intact. Nobody has left, and we've added people to our staff. But I think the most important thing, when you come into a program, because I always wanted to put my own touches on the program, but then you also have to realize what works, and why has New Albany football been successful. And a lot of that is, things that, the non-negotiables that we weren't going to touch. And that was the finish program and all the other things that made our program what it is to this date. I didn't want to take anything away. And, my job as a head coach is to keep this program rolling. So that, one of the things is to kind of realize what you want to keep in place, but also, things that you can add to the program to make it better. Like, I think one of the things that we added, learned from Robin Miller at Columbus Academy, the competition where we divided our program up, our team into 4 different groups, and they competed throughout the summer with lifting attendance and different competitions. And this will be year 2 of that. But that's something that, took from another program that was very successful and somebody that I really respect, and took something from their program and then added it and included it to ours. But also, I think as a coach, you want to surround yourself with the best people. And like I said, there's not a better coaching staff in the state of Ohio or anywhere around for that fact than our football coaches. We're very fortunate that a lot of them teach in the district. All of our middle school coaches, teach in the district. So our kids, they see our coaches not just as a coach, but they also see them as their teacher in the classroom. Yeah. With Coach Kroll, Coach Britton. We have, tons of guys that our kids see in the hallways. And I think that's an important thing. You need to surround your players with guys that you want leading them. And, that was already kind of, set in place. And Jeff Size, he's with our guys more than we are. And so to have somebody with Jeff and Andy Britton with him on board, so when they're not with us, they're with those guys, and they're constantly being young men, and I think that's an important part of our program.
So let's say tomorrow, Bubba Kidwell buys his lottery ticket and strikes it rich with the Powerball. What's the first thing that you're doing with those millions?
I think the first thing I would do, that's a tough question. Mm-hmm. Probably buy a car of some sort that's a little nicer than the one that I'm driving or my wife's driving. That would probably be, I don't know if it'd be the top thing, but it'd be right up there.
Yeah.
Very fortunate. We live in a great community, have everything that we want and need, but I would say a car. I know my kids want a dog. Not that we would need a lot. My wife's allergic to pets, so at least she says she is to keep us from getting one. But yeah, no, I think buying a car, something that's a little bit nicer than what I have. And
sounds good.
And I don't know, maybe a house. Maybe I'd like a lot of land.
Sure.
And about 5-6 acres where I could roam and run around on and mow. That'd be kind of nice to have as well.
That sounds good. What do you have what's your favorite song from the 90s? What were you blasting out to in the 90s?
So, well, I guess it could go back to the 80s. But I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan.
Okay.
So I love the Beastie Boys. So that started in the 80s, but then I guess my favorite 90s song would be Sabotage from the Beastie Boys.
All right.
I looked it up. I think it was 1994 is, when I was around. But yeah, Beastie Boys, that's always been my favorite group. Matter of fact, I had my Beastie Boys T-shirt on yesterday. So that was an easy question.
Well, good stuff. Before I let you go, is there anything you want to say kind of to your guys or to the community or anything like that? Just something to finish us up with. About 7 years ago, we were living in Gahanna, and my kids were going to school here because I taught here.
And we decided to move here 7 years ago to New Albany to be part of the community. And I think that was the best decision my wife and I made for our family at that time. There's so many good people, so many wonderful people that not only do I live next to, but I work with, and I'm very fortunate to live in a community like this, and my kids go to a wonderful school with teachers that they see, at the grocery store, and when they come home, that they talk about their experiences in the classroom, and how those teachers have had a huge impact on them. So I can't thank the people in the community of New Albany enough for not only what they've done for me, but for my family. Like I said, my oldest son's going off to college, and a lot of the reason why he has the opportunity that he has is because of the people in New Albany. Mm-hmm. So very fortunate to have had this experience for me and my family.
All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us on this Monday afternoon, and all the best to you and your family. I look forward to seeing you in person, hopefully sometime very, very soon. But in the meantime, you guys stay safe and keep washing those hands and keep social distancing, and hopefully this thing comes to an end as quickly as possible. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, Richie, and thank you for everything. And I can't thank you guys enough and for this. And I think these videos are
yeah.
There's a lot of coaches that I see at the meetings and so forth, but you learn a lot about them. And I think the kids like this as well because they see us as a real person and not just their coach. So I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Richie.
You bet.